Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Mr. Kostas, the head of Department of Food Science and Nutrition of University of Lemnos, and he's joined us to give us some insights about the special gastronomic stories and approach that's employed and deployed on the island of Lemnos. Welcome to our show. So before we kickstart on the crux of the matter, if you could just put some light on your journey into the space of gastronomy and why you're so passionate about it.
Well, it's part of our job. We are in a university where we deal with food and nutrition, and gastronomy is what the consumer receives. My research interest is exactly this, how the consumer understands food. And gastronomy is another way of how the consumer understands food. There is a thing that we call sensory marketing, particularly in food, and this is what I'm dealing with. And we try to apply various projects of sensory marketing, which is about translating and making the most of promoting the information about all these unique raw materials that the island have to the end consumer. In our case, the end consumer is a tourist, and different tourists have different cultures, and we need to make sure that we help the industry and the hotels to give the right message so the tourist can fully understand what is available on the island in terms of gastronomy, of course.
How are you bridging the gap between food perception and tourism?
Well, just to give you an example, we have very unique raw materials that they go back to hundreds and hundreds of years to us in Greece that we still cultivate, the locals still cultivate here. And we have a very competitive hotel industry of five-star hotels and very, very prestigious restaurants. But the challenge is that to link these two, you need the right information in the right form. So it's meaningless for a consumer, it's meaningless for a tourist to tell him that this kind of this and this contains X raw material which has more antioxidants. This is a very important thing in terms of nutrition, but the tourist doesn't understand what antioxidant is, or he doesn't want to deal with it during his holiday. What he really wants to understand is what this can do for him and how this can be part of his experience during the 10-20 days that he spends in Lemnos. So how you translate that is a full ecosystem, which includes the vocabulary that you use, the image that you use, the actual taste of the food, the environment, the colors in the hotel that he experienced the meal, the dinner.
I was speaking to a few of your industry colleagues, and they were very proud of the food of the gastronomy in Lemnos. So, how different it is from mainland Greece?
Well, what is the really competitive here? What is the really important here is that we have truly original and unique raw materials and recipes and food experiences that they date back to hundreds and hundreds of years, and this is completely intact in Lemnos. It has been remaining original since that old days, and this is what we bring to the very end to the product. There is the technology and the marketing and the commercialization is for promoting this and not creating something using this uniqueness. So we maintain the originality, and we try to make sure that it's available as much as possible through culture and sciences.
And my follow-up question would be, given the pandemic situation, as the market opens up, there are certain SOPs advised or implemented by both state and the tourism ministry. But as a professor, what is your advice to the restaurateurs across the world on what are the few 5 or 10 pointers one has to keep in mind, whether it's kitchen or serving it on the table?
This is an area that doesn't really concern me that much. It's in terms of food, there is no high risk. In terms of transmission of illnesses through food, this is quite confirmed now. What is really important is the training of the professionals that participate in the food industry and the hospitality industry. The level of training in Lemnos is quite high. It's much higher than the typical average that you will expect in a similar place. So as a source of hazard, the food itself, there is no reason for the public to worry. In terms of services, I think as long as we are professionals, and this is about training and we have here a lot, there is nothing to worry about. I think the problem is when you go to more dense areas, and density in population and services always bring higher hazards. Lower density brings quality and brings lower hazards.
So what are the 5 dishes that a traveler should look forward at Lemnos that you recommend?
It's one thing which probably have 5 or 6 or 4 elements. It's really from the farm to fork for the tourists. So you will be able to visit and see the actual raw materials in the place it grows. You will be able to visit while you enjoying your hiking, your visit to the beach. You will be able to see the actual olive tree or the vineyards that grow for hundreds and hundreds of years. You will be able to walk the route and understand how this is moving from the production to the processing. And you will be able in the same day, in the same night, to go to a fine service restaurant and enjoy it as a final product, which is a meal experience. So what they will definitely look for is to make sure that they experience the procedure from the end to the beginning. This is quite unique and still remains here available.
Oh, wow. So what are your 5 favorite dishes?
We have local dairy that are quite unique and they are protected designation of origin. And they are protected designation of origin not just because they have been granted this, is because they maintain the originality. So local varieties of goats and sheep produce the milk, and with this milk we make the local cheese. So it's local and original from the very first of the step of the procedure. Surprisingly, there is a very big family of products. There is a family of products which is about legumes. This is not your typical premium product that you will think of when you go for as a tourist somewhere, but legumes are quite important and quite unique in Lemnos. We have varieties that you cannot find in any other island. It's local bakery crisps. What we will call internationally crisps and crackers. It's not probably, it's a kind of traditional cracker. Again, this go back to producing wheat, which is Lemnos variety wheat, and it's the same that the ancient Greeks were cultivating, and that's why Lemnos is known as the agricultural center of the ancient Greece. I want to make sure I will not exclude anybody, but another thing that we have to mention is honey, because there are quite a few interesting varieties of local herbs, and there is a complex and ecosystem of herbs and bees and honey, which has the unique flavor based on the local flora.
And if you were to describe Lemnos food in one word or one sentence, what would that be?
In one word, I will call it original, the originality, real. In a sentence, I will say, I wouldn't use a sentence because you need a sentence when you need more for less. Originality is one word. I don't think you need any more.
So we have heard wonderful stories and some historic connection between Lemnos and India. So if there is a political, historical, or a cultural connection, I'm sure there would be some gastronomic connection as well. If you could put some light on that.
There is, in previous history, Indian soldiers have spent some time in Lemnos and they were very well appreciated. Funny thing, in other places of Greece, legumes are not very much appreciated in terms of speciality. It's a kind of thing that you will eat when you don't have anything else to eat. Here in Lemnos, legumes are very, very highly appreciated, and they are central part of special dishes. So I was always thinking that might be of the influence of the Indian soldiers, because I know that in the Indian diet, you know how to appreciate and promote very simple ingredients based on the most of the flavor and the colors. So this is not something that we see anywhere else in Greece. We see it, however, in Lemnos, and I was thinking that might be an influence that your Indian soldiers left behind. And we thank you for that, our appreciation for legumes.
And what's your favorite Indian dish?
Indian dish. I like the green curry a lot, especially the
Green
one
curry.
that green curry. I don't know the name of it, but I like the one which is green in color and you combine it with spinach and cheese. That's amazing.
Paneer,
You have
paneer. Yeah, that's right.
well, exactly that. It's an example of the speciality of the Indian cuisine. How you take some simple raw materials and you make something which is very special.
And are Indian food available on the island of Lemnos?
No, as I told you, we made quite original. So there are no international cuisine. International cuisine is not very popular here at all. It's not about the Indian. So what you will find here is truly Greek. Maybe in the future we'll have more international cuisine.
Sounds very interesting, and I'm looking forward to visit Lemnos and experience the gastronomy there someday for sure. And thank you for giving us insights on the gastronomical journey in Lemnos. And thank you for coming on our show. Have a great day.